Paul. You?
Yeah, not too bad.
Bit disappointed I can't see you. I can see Russ's feed, but I can't see yours.
That's weird.
It is. Don't know what I can do my end. There's a thing that says having issues. I clicked on that and it's just to email the customer service team, I think. So I don't think they'll get back to us straight away.
It could be your end then.
Yeah, but it seems a bit strange, doesn't it? Because I can see mine. I wonder if I can take me off.
Right.
Settings.
I can confirm we are live on YouTube. First time.
Happy days.
Happy days.
But I haven't had any notifications go out yet. Has your phone been pinging?
No.
I haven't put anything on the chat about what we're talking about, so hopefully they don't block us as they normally do. Right. So, are we ready?
Yo.
Good to go. Good to go.
Right, here we go. No notifications have gone out yet.
It's now time for you to sit back in your chair and relax. Let your mind wander into the deepest,
I'm on that lost a minute.
parts of your brain. And let Ross take you on a journey through the unexplained.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to Journey Through the Unexplained, live and exclusive on Pulse Talk Radio, Facebook, and for the very first time, I can say that we are live on YouTube. And just as I can say, I don't know who's listening. Someone's listening to it somewhere along the line because I can hear it and they haven't turned their phone off. Welcome, one and all. As you can see, Joey's checking if he's looking beautiful on the screen.
No, I'm checking it's on Facebook.
Yeah, we heard it. Don't worry. We heard it.
I don't know if it's on YouTube. Is it live on YouTube?
It is live on YouTube. It was all live on YouTube before we even started. So we should be live on all platforms.
Yeah.
Welcome, one and all. I'm not too sure if Philip was on before us or not. He hasn't been too well recently, so I don't know.
What's up with Philip?
He's got a lot of chest problems at the moment. He's had some sort of, I think, flu or this horrible bug that's been going around, and he can't seem to shift it, unfortunately. So
that's his art.
So he's about. I know he's about. He might even be listening. I don't know if he was on his show tonight, but if he was, I do apologise. I was thrown some videos at last minute to get onto.
Well, if you're listening, Philip, wish you well. Lots of healing sent to you.
So that's all good. As you can see, guys and girls, I've got two people in the studio tonight. I've got my wonderful co-host, Mr. Paranormal Paul.
Good evening. How are we doing? All good?
All good in the hood. And I've got my former co-host, Mr. Joey Essex. Back in the hood. How is everybody? How you been, Paul? Let's do our normal setup. I'll go round, ask you, how's your week been? You been all right?
Yes, not too bad, mate. Very busy. Start of the new year. Flying into it, mate. Flying into it. No time for myself at the moment.
Well, that's what you sort of want. Ish.
Yeah,
works.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Heidi. I just saw the comment.
Yeah, we're getting to them in a minute. Will you shut up and behave?
Okay.
All right. The comments come after we've asked Paul if he's all right.
All right.
I'm
Sorry, Paul. I can't even see Paul. He's just loads of blocky squares.
Well, he is. He's giving you the two fingers at the moment, so I can say
Right,
that.
he
He
can
can't
do
see
whatever he
that.
likes. I wouldn't even know.
But that's what you want, though. Time flies when you're going at work. It all flies, doesn't it? You're not there as long as you want to be. That makes sense.
No, that's it, mate. Yeah, not enough hours in the day at the moment.
Exactly. But you're doing well. We're live. We're exclusive. So that's the good thing.
Yes.
Now I'll do the comments before we get to Joe. Okay. There's a lot of love for you. All right. There's a lot of love for you on the comments. Evening all. Hi, Joe. I still call Joe my brother-in-law. He will always be my family. Love you, Joe. That's nice, isn't it? That's
Thanks,
a nice
Mike.
comment. We've got the lovely Heidi Hansen all the way from Denmark tuning in. As
Evening,
always.
Heidi.
Hi, Heidi.
We've got lovely Marianne. She likes to be called Marianne on this show, not Maz. Don't know why. She's
Hi,
got like,
Maz.
yeah, she's got like an alter ego, isn't she?
Marianne sounds so much more distinguished, doesn't it?
She thinks she's posh.
Yeah.
Marianne, but she really isn't.
Marianne
Maz to us.
Antoinette comes to mind.
Yeah,
Doesn't it?
that's it.
Oh.
That's it.
I've got some news for you. I've got Paul loud and proud.
Oh, happy
I
days.
can see you, Paul. So if you've been doing that, I've been watching you.
You put 50p in the meter, did you?
Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
Got to turn my sound off, but I don't know how to. New phone, don't know how to do it.
Right, how have I been? I've been fine. Thank you.
How have you been?
Yep, I've been all right.
Good.
We'll mention later on about Rendlesham. I went there the other day, as you know. When was it? Friday night, was it? Can't remember when it was now. Friday or Saturday night.
I'm going to get clumped. I know, but I'm behind the screen, babe, so it don't matter. It
Why
really
didn't
don't
it
matter.
come?
Because I called her Marianne and she thinks she's posh.
Oh, not
No
I
fault the
wasn't
show. No fault is the show's as Marianne. It's on my Facebook. I don't care. You're mads to me and Paul and Joe because you think
Oh,
you're
is that
posh.
your partner, Christina?
That's my partner. Yes,
Hi, Christina.
she's checking in. She's checking in. Just to make
Hello,
sure I'm
Simon.
being good. Yeah, look, Sody, I'm going to get a clump next time. Simon is in the chat. Loads of people are tuning in to see you, Joe, this week. And you're getting a wave.
I feel humbled.
There you go.
It's good to see everyone. Well, here see the comments.
Yeah, that's lovely. Well, we might as well, get into it. Joe went to Rendlesham Forest. As you know, we talk about Rendlesham quite a lot on this show. It is one of our favourite haunts. We are planning to. I am planning everything I possibly can to try and do a live show from now one day in the summer. I think I've got enough bits to get us through the show with a donation.
Well, I do hope you've got all your bits.
Nothing
Nothing like a bit of innuendo, eh?
You're back.
Don't you miss me?
Yeah. It's good. I've got the mute button, so we can mute him whenever we choose to.
The people on the side now.
Yeah, see, I've got the power. I've got the power. See, gone. But no, I am looking. I've got a very, very good friend that is going to lend us a high-powered battery silent generator that would run 2 computers that would last. It charges it will charge 2 computers 6 times over, so we can have them
And
running.
he trusts you to give it back.
No, not at all. Well, it's Sai. He's got his own YouTube channel, Sai's Finds. So he's going to kindly lend us that. And I think
Is that your mudlarking friend?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am hoping maybe one Saturday night this show would go live from Rendlesham by the side of them gates.
That'd be good.
and see what we
Yeah.
get, because I know Paul hasn't been there.
No.
Paul,
And I
haven't
think-
you been there yet?
No, not yet.
Crikey.
And
You
you
could-
can
could
come
have
there.
done
We went
that.
last year, didn't we? But no, we didn't end up going.
Yeah,
No.
but it's so silly because it is only probably about an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
It's not
Not even
even, it's not even far in context to where we travel and come back at night sometimes. Do you know?
Yeah.
So to do it, and I think we could get a nice show going there. You know, especially in the summer, if it's not raining, it's still nice and warm. We put a table up, and then we get like the computers going, and we'll see. I have a plan. Does it always execute up in for real life? I don't know. It will depend on signal of phones, but it has seemed to have worked in the past. We was lucky to do a live feed around Rendlesham, and it held pretty nice.
I thought we'd just done recording.
No, we was live. We was live from Rendlesham, and that orb. Do you remember the orb come towards us? And I jumped at Jay.
Yeah, but I don't remember that. Was that live?
Yeah, that'd be on the Essex Ghost Hunters channel somewhere.
How dare you put it on the Essex Ghost Hunters channel?
We never had this show before then,
I know.
prior to this show, so it was the only thing that we could do, I think. Or was it? It was just coming out of lockdown, so yeah, I don't think we had a fate. Yeah, I can't remember. Can't remember where it went to, but yeah, I can't remember. It might have gone to the Journey page and then gone to somewhere else. But I'd like to go back to the ET area before that.
Yeah, well, that's not far from the gate anyway.
Yeah. But I know that held a signal there and it's pretty open, so it would probably give us best. But no, I know Paul hasn't been there, and I think we might have lost Paul.
No, I've got him.
No, he's back. He's back. He's
Yeah,
back.
you just cut out on me then.
Yeah. So we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but this is nothing normal. This is nothing unnormal for the journey through the unexplained.
What I would say, Russ, about the signal is that, do you remember I went there on my own like a crazy nutcase in August?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've done that really. I managed to get a little bit of a live out, but the signal was awful. And then I recorded a couple of little video clips, didn't I, if you remember? But when we went there the other night, the signal was really good, surprisingly. And
Well,
we could have done a live there and then, but we didn't because just didn't. But there was weird stuff going on that particular evening.
And you know, well, let's ask a question. How did it go last? Because you was there Friday night.
Well, when we first got there, we went straight to the gate, and I had an EMF meter because I was, that would pick up any radiation, stroke, electromagnetic signals. That went off as soon as I got it out of the rucksack, and then for the rest of the evening, I didn't get anything more from that. But the main thing that affected us when we first arrived was there was this light right by the fence that was sort of glowing, and that really spooked us out. And initially we tried to sort of debunk it like you normally do, because if you go in Rendlesham Forest, there's quite a few little dwellings dotted about. Do you remember there's a house in the forest right on the edge of a house? And if you look through the forest and you happen to get the line of sight so that the house is poking, the light is poking through the trees, it looks like something ominous. And you have to debunk that, because I think we did that together with Simon, didn't we?
Yeah. Last
time we went. That turned out to be someone's house. Remember when someone comes to the window?
Yeah.
So I debunked that. It wasn't that. And then the other option of it being something standard was someone with a torch that was walking along the perimeter fence, but there wasn't anyone there when we investigated it. So that was really weird. So after that, we sort of walked around a few times in that little spot, and then Jaden, who came with me, he knows that woods quite well, and he took us the route that Simon's referring to, where Simon picked up on what he actually was overlaid by a Nordic alien, wasn't he? If you remember right. Is that's when we recorded it? Did we record it then or not?
Ooh. I think we stopped recording at some point.
Yeah. Well, we went there, and when we eventually come back, there wasn't really much going on. It was very spooky. There was sort of the usual noises that you don't know what they are. They could be animals, could be anything. But the main thing that we got, I would say, positive evidence on the evening was when we got back to where the gate area was, and I got the laser pointer. And I said to Jaden, who I think Jaden has got a link with ET, UFOs, because he's had a few anomalies in his skyline from when he used to live in his flat in Colchester. And I come to the intuitive conclusion that he's definitely got a link with them. And I said to him, look, you summon that sky area, like I will do it as well at the same time, and I'll laser point it as well. And we got, must have been 15 or 20 sort of bursts of light. And these were not, it wasn't a star that was coming in out of clouds, because as you know, that night that I went was absolutely crystal clear. If you try to debunk it, there isn't really anything you can't debunk it, because another sort of thing that happened as well was on 2 or 3 occasions, I saw something that he saw at the same time. And that was one of these lights zipping across the sky so fast, it left like a trail. When you shine a torch into a television camera, you get a bit of a trail afterwards, don't you? Like a comet tail.
Yeah.
We was getting that, and that happened 3 or 4 times.
Simon said it was an irate helicopter pilot.
Well, actually, Jaden was very worried about me, because that's quite a few planes go over that bit, and he said, "Don't you dare go near them planes." I said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything like that. I don't want them turning up and taking me away." But no, I've definitely done it in areas that were very isolated from any traffic. But yeah, I can't explain what that was, apart from my instinct says that we was communicating with something. And that lasted about half hour. And then Jaden got too cold, and then can we go home now?
But I it's very hard, and when Paul hasn't been there, but you can't explain without Paul being there. You can't explain to him what the energy is like there, because Paul does obviously. No. He's a part of the team with the ghost hunting. So when Paul feels something, he quite happily says, "There's something not here," didn't you, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know that
yeah,
feeling.
It'd be interesting.
But
yeah, exactly.
I can't explain what the other bit is. I can't explain that forest to you.
Sorry, I missed that, mate. I've lost your signal then.
As I was saying, like when you do your ghost hunting side of things with us, and you get that feeling, and you know there's something there, and you either say, whoever group you're in, you go, "There's something here," you can feel it. Now, this forest is definitely odd when it comes to what you feel and how you feel it. And I would just like to take someone like you, and I think I really would like to take someone like Scott, that, I know he believes in the spiritual sense of stuff, but I don't necessarily know what he believes in this side of stuff. And I would love to see and take someone in there with that clear connection with spirit, but not clear connection with ufology and things like that, to see if their energies change.
Yeah, and if the feeling feels different when you do feel something,
Yeah,
and notice the difference between the two.
because the first time we went there, it almost felt like we all lost spiritual communication. The energy changes from spirit to something else and stops any comms. And that's the first time we went there. I totally agree with that. I think it just threw us completely.
Do you know what? Funny enough, I normally agree with Simon and disagree with you, Russ. But on this occasion, I disagree with you both. I think that the way I feel the energy when I go there, I feel that it's all very similar, because let's face it, they're all energies, aren't they? They're all energies that are vibrating at different frequencies. That's my opinion,
Yep.
And that's what I suppose a lot of the general consensus does say. So the only time I feel that it's different is when it's a very dark negative energy, and I had that when I went there on my own and done some short video clips. Do you remember I sent them over to you?
I've got them on the computer somewhere.
And that was really frightening. And it takes quite a lot now to frighten me now. In a haunted house, because I get a lot of spiritual stuff come to my cottage up in Suffolk, and it wakes me up at night, usual time, 2 or 3 o'clock, and it doesn't faze me anymore. I just basically say, yeah, I'm not interested, and just go back to sleep. But I think that the energy's the same, and I think because we've got 2 different radio channels, like you've got Essex Ghost Hunters and Journey Through the Unexplained, it's really the same thing, I think. These entities, these ETs, have got an energy, and our Isby, our spirit, is again another energy that's vibrational energy that can't be destroyed.
And as I've said this sort of in previous shows to Paul, that when it comes to sort of, I believe there is a strong link between extraterrestrial and spirit. And I think the first time that we ever went to Rendlesham, I agree with Simon. Absolutely, I think it just totally threw us. I think because we didn't really know what we were dealing with. The second time we went, I remember picking up on a witch following us through the forest. So walking back, it would have been on my right-hand side. Walking towards the gate, it was on my left-hand side. I remember that. I couldn't tell you the details of it, but I could remember feeling that witch. So I knew that I could communicate. But I think the first time that we went there, I think that totally bamboozled me because of the overpowering energy there. That makes sense. But I have said to Paul many times that I generally do feel there is a link between, I think we even did a show on it, Paul, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did, yeah.
That there's a link definitely between spiritual energy with, let's put it like a blunt way, when we communicate with the dead, and then we communicate with the higher being of life, whatever that would be.
I would say, I can see what you mean. I would say that all the different things in this universe are vibrating at a different frequency, and that's why there's certain people that are tuned in. They've meditated enough. They're sort of tuned into. They can see spirit, and there's certain other people that can't see spirit. They can see what it is. That spirit is there for everyone to see. But because it's vibrating at a certain frequency, the viewers, say you've got 10 people looking at this potential spirit, this ghost, because it's vibrating at a certain frequency, there's a few people here that can see it because they've got the ability in their third eye, in their makeup, in their chakras, to tune into that particular spirit. And there's others there that can't do it because they can't tune into it, a bit like tuning into a radio. So
I totally agree with you.
So I think that all the, like when we're talking about alien energies and human energies that have passed spirit, they've gone from their physical body into their spiritual essence. I think they're all the same, but they're all different frequencies. So they do feel a little bit different. And Simon has mentioned that. He said that they do feel different to a certain degree, and I would agree with that.
What's your take on like interdimensional beings? You know, sort of like not so much from outer space, but maybe like in a parallel universe, sort of running alongside us, but mixing in with us.
You can only speculate and really have an opinion, I suppose, because there isn't much evidence. I mean, there is evidence. There isn't a lot of evidence for proving spirit exists, really, and not even extraterrestrials, to be fair. But there isn't really any evidence of interdimensional travel, apart from now and again you see evidence that's shown on videos and stuff. That's where you see something totally disappear, or I've seen videos where there's someone from an old period of time that's caught on video. You know, I don't know. What do you think on that, on interdimensional? I mean, you can only go by what you pick up, you know, the information.
Yeah, well, I think they sort of brushed across it when they done the Disclosure Project with what was his name?
Greer.
Greer.
Dr. Stephen Greer, yeah.
Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer. And since that, I've seen a lot more about it. You know, they reckon the majority of things that we're seeing, either spirit or what we class as extraterrestrial, is basically sort of crossovers from either portals or, you know, interdimensional travel and that sort of thing. So
yeah,
it seems to be, I don't know, is it just it's come out in one respect, so everyone's jumping on the bandwagon? Maybe, you know, it's their way of explaining it a bit better, maybe. But yeah,
a lot
it's definitely
theoretical. I mean, like it's like black holes. They keep talking about black holes.
Pretty much everything we do, isn't it? It's we can guess what causes it and what, you know, like we say with our energies. I think all three of us pretty much believe that it is the energies that we vibrate on and frequencies we vibrate on. Sorry, but can we prove it without a shadow of a doubt?
No, I mean you can't.
For the interdimensional thing, I think one of the biggest candidates for that is Bigfoot. That interdimensional / time travel / portal / quick movement, because how many times do you see Bigfoot traveling and then it's disappeared out of absolute nowhere? It just goes from there to gone, there to gone. So for this interdimensional crossover or travel or space jumping or whatever you want to call it, I think one of our biggest, I think if you're going to explore that, my general opinion is that Bigfoot would be your key to that. Watching, you know, it's one of my things. I love watching programs about Bigfoot, and how many times they've caught these beings or whatever you want to call them on thermal imaging, and you see them walk and then just go, which is virtually, you know, not impossible, but for the human brain, it's impossible, because you can't just make your heat source disappear that quickly. Cloaking devices you could hit with that, but still, I think for that quickness of boom, boom, once again, it's all anecdotal and it's all, you know, just theorizing. But I generally believe that if the crossover of interdimensional time travel or beings using it, Bigfoot is definitely what I would class as the leading candidate for that.
To be honest with you, I haven't really researched Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the Shook, the Black Dog. See, the problem is that you hear about these descriptions, and are they the same thing? Are they something that you say that they can come in and out of our dimension? some of the video footage that I've seen suggests that when they've caught video evidence of Bigfoot or Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it, it's a physical animal or hybrid. So I can't really give my comment on what you just said then. But I'll tell you what is very interesting though, because I've been doing a bit of research into other people that get weird stuff in Rendlesham, and there's quite a few people that do. Do you know that? It's surprising how many people have been there and they've got weird stuff happen there. And that was mentioned. There was a tall, dark figure mentioned in some of the evidence, and the Shook. Is it the Shook? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, because Simon picked up in the pub, wasn't it, about the Black Shook, and it was a monkey-like beast.
Yeah, I suppose when they say that, does it like travel high up or low? We've never experienced it, but there is lots of evidence to show that people have experienced it in there. In Rendlesham.
In Rendlesham.
In Rendlesham,
yeah. Simon. A little brief story. We was all sitting in a pub, and we was all eating, ready to. It was me, Maz, Joe, Simon, Jay. There's 5 of us, wasn't there? And we was all sitting in the pub, and we was talking, and Simon just come out with shug monkey, and we was like, "What the hell is a shug monkey?" So Joe quickly got on his phone. I got on his phone, and we're googling shug monkey this, and it was like okay. And all of a sudden, it just come up on one thing: the shug monkey of Rendlesham Forest. One of us got it. I don't know if it was Mads, me, you, or Jay, but one of us got it, and it was. He's saying hi, apparently.
Yeah, I see that. And hi to Jacqueline Howes. I just saw Jacqueline, a new
Jackie.
Yeah. Nice to have Jackie. You.
She's always on our events, ghost hunting events, loves all this as well.
But, that was interesting because Simon actually got that without research, didn't he?
Yeah. But I still think me and Jay have witnessed I think we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, Paul?
Yeah.
Me and Jay, we felt we witnessed or was in presence of that cryptoid or whatever you want to call it.
Where was this?
In Wales, in a forest in Wales, because the evidence was quite strong with how the bushes were broken, especially around our windows. So if you could imagine a square window, sort of, like a window at the low levels, bungalow window. So it sits 5 foot off the ground. And if you could imagine a great big bush in front of that window.
Either that or you've got some peeping Tom going around looking through your windows.
But you couldn't have stepped over it. If you could have, and it was folded back from the window. So it wasn't folded towards the window. All the bushes were folded back from the window. So whatever had stepped over the bushes, which stood 4 foot high, and pushed them back instead of towards the window. And there was no evidence that anything could walk towards it. It literally just obviously stepped over the bush to look in through the window. And evidently that Bigfoot and things like that are very inquisitive. And it's the first time that me and Jay, or Jay in particular, didn't want to be there. And we both said it to each other, this feels like Bigfoot. Why would we say that if we didn't feel it?
Did you get any local knowledge when you was there?
No. It was just all the evidence. But when we felt it, we sort of hastily retreated back to the cottage because we did feel very intimidated, very frightened. And Jay, Jay's walked through forests in the middle of the night for our lives in the middle of nowhere. So for Jay to say, I want to get out of there, I paid attention. I didn't not.
Yeah, when Jay doesn't want to be there, then it's probably a good time not
it's
to
no different to Tomo, is it, Paul? We say that if he don't want to be there,
yeah,
we don't
Who's
want to be
Tomo?
there. Scott.
Oh.
Scotty T. You know Scotty T. Paul's,
yeah, we said Tomo. I don't know who that is, but I know Scott
Scotty
Thompson.
T. Yeah, that's who he is. He's another one. If he don't want to be there, pretty much most of us are out there.
So going back to Rendlesham, it really is a crazy place. There is all sorts of stuff going on there. So it's not just the fact there was a UFO incident there in 1980. There is weird stuff there all the time. I mean, let's face it, every time I've been there, something's happened. And that includes when I've been there with you and Simon. The most notable time was when we went in your car and your car alarm went off 100 yards walking away from it, if you remember. And then we walked back to it and you reset it, then it went off again. We had to go back to it, and I think you had to deactivate it or something to stop it happening again. Then we had the walk around with the big ball of light that came down and fell in front of us and then zipped off. And then we had the incident
where the car went into meltdown.
Yeah, and also when we drove out of the car park to join the road, there was a white light and a red light following each other that went across the road, and we all thought it was a crossroads of a car going past. And when we got there, there wasn't a road there. And what's interesting, Russ, if I can just say, is that when I went there with Jaden and 3 of his colleagues there, must have been 2 years ago now, me and Jaden cowardly slept in the car park in our cars, and these 3 colleagues of Jaden slept in the woods. And in the morning, we went up to go and see him and said, well, what happened? They said, oh my God, we didn't hardly get any sleep. There was all these crazy lights going outside the tent. We were scared to death. And that's, me and Jaden were absolutely gutted that we didn't sleep in the woods with them. But at the time, it didn't seem a very good thing to do.
Paul, are we selling this to you? Are we selling the whole Rendlesham thing to you? He's crashed just at the wrong time.
Yeah. No, you're not one bit, mate.
Guarantee that when we go there, something happens.
I've now got Bigfoot as well.
No, but yeah, it is. It's.
No, I'm up for it, mate. I'm up for it.
Yeah, we know you're pretty game for anything, but it is such a different experience to what we all know. But then again, a part of me, Paul, if you run, you can get lost very easy. We have to have him on one of them, like the kids things. We have to put the bands around their wrists. Yeah.
Yeah. Simon's mentioned the ball of light in the car. That was really crazy.
Yeah.
That came in the car without any windows open.
And I didn't even see it, I don't think. So I was driving.
It came straight down the middle and it stopped just above the, we have a center armrest.
Yeah.
Arm thing. There, and then went.
Very odd.
Yes. I can guarantee none of that sort of stuff will happen when I go there. It never. Honestly,
I don't think you have a choice.
It will happen.
Don't get me wrong. I hope it does.
It will happen.
I just don't. The thing is, I am sort of caught between the devil and the deep blue sea of Rendlesham. I do feel like the Rendlesham Forest thing has. I think it holds the energy of everybody that goes there. I do feel that. I just feel it. It's like a hot spot. I just think the more people go, the more intense it will get. It keeps the energy resides in.
Has anyone ever checked like ley lines and things like that with Rendlesham? Because do you think that's the why you're getting so much extraterrestrial activity and things like that? Because it's harvesting all this energy there, which is I don't know, like a beacon for all sort of supernatural entities, you know.
That's that. I do believe there is ley lines
That's a really good point, because I've got a book of ley lines. I'll look that up. I never thought of that, Paul. That's a good point. It's a very good
I think
point.
either that, or because it was an old military base around there, wasn't it? Maybe there's something underground that's attracting.
Oh, don't say that to Simon. Cue the comment of Simon Hardy.
I'm just saying that they could be experimenting with stuff that's giving off a signal that's attracting everything to come along.
Right,
You know?
I've just had my one. That's Russell's. And that's Paul.
No, when we first, Steve has just asked, can anyone come to these events? Steve, we don't actually do events at Rendlesham Forest. It's something that we couldn't do. I know there has been a couple of people in the paper that have done it, sold it for a lot of money, but it would be too costly, I think, to run events there, to get permissions and all that. But we can, if we do go there, maybe you can join us. Maybe you can come along.
Yeah, if anyone makes a point forward to come with us, why not?
Nuclear, and that is why the ETs are watching. That's what Simon's belief is. What's buried there, or what was buried there,
or what maybe is.
Yeah.
If I don't know if he's referring to a craft or nuclear warheads. I mean, I think the Americans did actually admit in the end that they had parked nuclear warheads at USAF Bentwaters and RAF Woodbridge. I think. I can't remember clearly now.
No, it was 100%. I can guarantee. Yeah,
because it was a theory that's why these ETs come in 1980, because there was witness statements saying that they saw beams shooting down towards the ground, which people allege that they knocked out these warheads or something.
I'm not too sure. I think we might have lost Paul just for a moment. He's definitely frozen. He's frozen. So we'll carry on with the conversation until Paul returns to us. I'm not. I believe the report was because one of the, you had, what's his name, didn't you? What was the main bloke?
Colonel Holt.
Colonel Holt. Then you had the others, didn't you?
Penniston,
that's the one. He sort of, over the last couple of years, has sort of changed his statement, hasn't he? In a sort of roundabout way that
I can't remember if it's him, but I know there's.
I know one of them is, as not changed his statement dramatically, but one of his statements, I think it was Penniston. I'm pretty sure. I'm not. Look, don't quote me to it, but one of them did say that they only placed the warheads after the incident because of that incident. How true that is, I don't know. So
I thought you meant change his statement about the what happened on the night of December.
Yes, he did, but he changed it along the way. He changed it along the lines of like they used tactics on us and made us believe it and made us think it and made us do the things that we did as a demonstration thing. But I know he welcome back, Paul.
It's typical, isn't it?
It's good now. It's clear as a bell now.
You know what it is, Paul? Is gonna. I think it's because you're up the top.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
I think if you was to go back into that middle room that you got into, I think it's where you're too high.
What network you on? Oh, what network you on?
Sky.
Boom, boom. We've been talking about the Sky. Boom, boom.
But I'm checking. They're saying I've got 4 bars, but
yeah,
it's
all right now. It's corrected itself now.
We'll see.
Is that via a modem or data?
Modem.
Modem.
Gone again.
Hmm.
It's gone again.
Perhaps he's a long way from the modem.
Yeah, I think he is. But we'll just carry you back, Paul.
I think so, mate. I might come out and join back in, see if I can move a bit closer.
All right then, mate. I'll let you do that, and you can join us back in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
frozen
Paul.
on his head. He's sort of there, but not there. There he goes. But no, I know there is Simon's right. There is another documentary soon, but I know Penniston went through changing certain bits that all the others weren't happy about.
Yeah, I can't remember who. There's been a bit of confliction between accounts because there was a guy called Warren who's been quite forthright recently, isn't there, Warren? So yeah, it's very interesting. But I'm more interested in what that place is giving now. We've gone through that stuff, haven't we? What happened there historically? We can't really.
Well, it's
changing
it because I did speak to somebody that works on the because it is still a naval base, an Air Force base there, isn't there? There still is people working in that area.
Sorry, I muted it for a second.
That's right. And the woman works there, says it's been very, very active with planes and helicopters landing there.
Well, Bentwaters is still open, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, but they've been using the runway at Rendlesham.
That is something you've just reminded me. Actually, what we did, something did crazy happen. I wish Jaden was on here tonight as well, because he'll corroborate what I'm saying. We actually heard a jet take off on that runway.
Well,
and there wasn't one.
Yeah, but they have been using it as I suppose with all the the trouble in obviously the Middle East and Russia,
Ukraine.
I suppose, Ukraine and everything like that. I suppose it's the common ground, isn't it? It's an airfield that it's a massive long runway, isn't it? So
if anyone listening has not been there, you've got to go there. It's amazing because it's like Russ says, it's a massive runway and it's not being used. It's a waste of space. Massive hangars. The hangars are incredible. They can take probably a Lancaster bomber or 2 or 3 Lancaster bombers. They're massive.
Yeah, it's just a view to watch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Simon said, weird place in the day. It goes very quiet. Animal noise stopped for a while. Charlie has put, hi Charlie, haven't seen your name mentioned before. Thank you for joining us. Saw a documentary on Netflix recently about many UF sightings in Wales. Must be something over that way of interest.
Yeah.
Well, there's that whole incident of one village in Wales. I can't remember where the whole village witnessed.
The whole village witnessed it, but they all got poo-pooed.
Yeah, but they had the military there. The military stayed there for days.
Yeah.
Friend of Mike. Nice to see you joining in, Charlie. Put your comments in. We'd love to, read them out. If you've got a point, that goes for anybody in the chat or watching. If you want to ask us a question, just throw a question at us. We'll try and answer it. It's only our opinion, but we'll answer any questions that throw. We're just waiting for Paul to come back on before we move on to our next subject. So
it's interesting what Simon. Sorry, it's interesting what Simon says about the animal noises because that is one thing that is really weird there. That Jaden, who was there with me last Friday, he pointed out like there's no rustling or anything. It's like no animal noises. You got, and it's hard to describe to people that haven't been there. You've been there, Russ. When you walk up the main path and you look down the avenue of these Scots Pines, which are dead straight, aren't they? They're like skittles all lined up. You look down them, you can listen down them. There is no noise, no animal noises, which is really weird. What's that Simon says? Oh, yeah. Oh, he's back.
It looks like he's changed direction. He's what he's done. He's cross-dimensioned into someone else.
Right, right to carry all my gear down.
Oh, bless you, Paul. Well done, mate.
Well, I'm in my daughter's room, but apparently they're saying that the Wi-Fi keeps jumping in and out anyway. But I thought I'll give it a go. Hopefully, it won't be as bad down here.
It seems to be a lot better as it seems
Already.
clearer. We can
Yeah,
hear
not
you
cutting in and
better.
out.
So
It's
hopefully
not
that
cutting
works.
in and out, is it? So that's good.
Yeah. We've had some new people join us. Charlie has joined us. I'd have to see this one in Wales on Netflix. So I haven't seen that one, I don't think. I've only seen the one on Discovery.
Isn't that the one that Mark Ollie talked about years ago?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Wiltshire, Ludlow. So yeah, let us know your findings, guys. Let us know your findings. But no, it's all we was sort of trying to sort of round it off, Paul, about Rendlesham is that, you know, Simon was saying no noises of animals or anything like that, and Joe was just sort of collaborating that when he was there the last time, that there was no noises.
So he's got that sort of concentration camp feel about it, where nothing sort of alive. You can hear anything alive, no birds singing or anything like that. And
Nothing. There was a couple of twit-twoos, you know, the old owls talking to each other, but that was in the distance. But in the vicinity where he was, there was no animal noise. What's that?
Owls.
Oh yeah,
I think you that the other day, Russ, didn't I?
You have just nailed it. Owls are the. I don't know if I said. I think I might have forwarded that on to Joe. That video.
Yeah.
You might have to explain to people listening why you got excited then.
Well,
it started with that film, didn't it? The that was based on true events, The Fourth Kind.
I've got the video. It's a scary video. Some people think it's fake, but I don't know.
The VHS Joe's got the video.
Yeah.
The VHS.
I've still got my Betamax.
Betamax. I was about to say Betamax, yeah.
Between VHS and Betamax, who's going to win?
Yeah. They were.
But,
went off then.
Apparently, quite a lot of sightings and that have involved owls, wouldn't there? And someone kept seeing the owl up against their window and things like that. Before
wasn't the Fourth Kind based in Alaska? Nome.
Yes.
Nome in Alaska, and most of the witnesses that were being hypnotized come up with this owl.
Yes,
this owl
everyone.
image. Yeah.
But there was always that video that you sent me the other day with the owl at the window, wasn't it? Of something, and they zoomed in on it, and the face wasn't right, was it? The face wasn't right.
It's almost.
Yes, Simon just said what I said. Mark Colley was talking about the village in Wales. Yeah, Steve, that's a good idea. Bringing a dog. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to look for this video because I might be able to. The phone's just turned on for no reason. That's weird. Paul, I don't know if I. You sent me.
I haven't heard of that one, Charlie. Have you heard of that one, Paul? The Encounters on Netflix. Oh, that's the one he's talking about.
Yes, I have heard of it. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah.
I think I did watch the first one. I do think I watched the first one because it was ringing a bell on Netflix, but I thought it might have been on. I don't think I watched them all. I know Simon's watched them, but I know I didn't.
It's interesting that Netflix hosts quite a few documentaries that are quite convincing. Yet I always believed that Netflix was a bit like not working for the deep state, but they seem to be the puppeteers of the deep state, if you know what I mean. But they, surprisingly, Netflix do some really good documentaries, don't they?
They do.
But that's their whole goal, though, isn't it?
They want to hold the audience. They've got to have that variety there, haven't they?
Yeah.
But it's their platform to put out the debate, isn't it? Without a debate, then it doesn't. So it could be quite easily under their control, and they go, "Yeah, you put whatever you want out on it." So it makes it look more. It just causes more not argument, but debate amongst the believers and the non-believers. It's they, in my opinion, and it's, you know, I don't think there is anyone that puts out any evidence there that isn't put out by the deep state. Everything that we see and everything that we see to do with extraterrestrials and everything like that, they've only put it out because they want you to see it, to cause an argument. Because if you argue about it, then it makes it two sides of the story. If everyone believes it.
But the narrative that you see on the mainstream TVs and all that, they always try to make light of it like it's load old nonsense. I mean, the classic thing, this 1980 Rendlesham incident, they tried to fob everyone off about it, didn't they? They said that it wasn't the Orford Lighthouse. Someone said the lights was the Orford nests. You know, when we went to Orford, that little island, it used to be a nuclear test site near Snape, that area, near Orford Castle.
That was
Clark. I reckon the lighthouse there was the reason why these lights were seen during the 1980 Rendlesham incident. That was one of the main things put out, which is nonsense.
Yeah, but it would have been different back then. It would have been. We can only. So I'm not having a go, but we can only call it nonsense if we can testimony it ourselves. Because that David E. Clark, I think it was David. Is it David Clark? I've got his book.
Yeah, but Russ, we listened to the radio between the soldiers during the incident. Do you remember? We listened to the clip of the radio, and he was describing the different coloured lights and all that. There's no way that's a lighthouse.
No, but if you look at all the evidence regarding Rendlesham, and you look at why did they evacuate the two hospitals there 2 days before that incident?
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they evacuated the two hospitals. They stopped the children visiting their schools a week prior and a week before. So like after they wouldn't let them go to school, even though it was over Christmas, they never went back. They evacuated a village prior to the event.
Yeah.
And one of the strongest things is they did that is because it was a test. It was like for example, Project Bluebeam, and they dumped this, hallucinogen into the sky. Yeah. And they put lights in the forest to see how these people would react. But they evacuated the hospitals. The two local hospitals were evacuated 2 days prior to that event because of the wind system. They knew which way the wind was going, and the wind would drift down to the hospital.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence on it. There's a lot of evidence of what they evacuated prior to the night. Hence, why there is a lot of miscommunication with the exact date that it went on, because they're actually taking the word of the Sergeant Colonel Holt and things like that, and he couldn't give you the exact date because of the hallucinogen was in his system at the time of interview.
Yeah, there was something about the dates getting muddled, I remember.
Well, yeah, and it was reported only 2 weeks after the event. So
someone just mentioned that Wales incident again about the villagers stealing small pieces of the crashed craft. That I remember that now, because someone has still got a bit, haven't they? Because the MOD went round trying to get all their bits of the jigsaw puzzle back.
Well, Mark Holly got the one, didn't he? Mark
that's got it.
But he said he cut it in loads of bits and sent it to loads of people. So if they ever got his bits, he put it everywhere else. Do I look really red on the screen?
Yeah, you do.
It's really weird. Don't know.
You're not going to die, are you?
No, it's not really red. Looks like I've been suntanning myself. It's
You
hot.
look like you've been abroad. You look very healthy.
You know, but I know the Rendlesham incident. There is obviously a lot to make it look. What would you call it? There's a lot of debate about it. What was that noise? Do I think something went on there? Yes. What went on? I don't know.
No,
Is
it's
there
too much.
There's too
Different
much.
information.
Yeah.
Too much conflicting and
There's so much going on there, and I think, you know, what could have gone on there, I don't know. But if you listen to a good sort of H.P. Lovecraft investigations, and he delved into a lot of the history prior to that event back in sort of like the witchcraft era, and it was a huge coven. Rendlesham was a huge coven that moved from the New Forest when they were found up until.
You mean a witch's coven?
Massive. It was.
Yeah, that's
it had
interesting. You said
thousands.
that. That's interesting. You said that because I said I've done some recent research on Rendlesham. There was a whole plethora of different shit. Can I swear? Of different shit. There's a whole plethora of different shit going on in that thing. You know, we're sort of more interested in the alien side of thing or the extraterrestrial, but there's so much other stuff. Like you said, there was witches' covens there. Jaden Walsh, when he went there with his friend a few years ago, his friend literally ran out that forest screaming because he saw a man right in front of his face holding a lamp up like this, and it spooked him out, and he ended up running out of the forest. So there is so much in that place, honestly. It's just,
But
it might be a ley line thing. It might be a ley line cross point or something. I don't know.
You're not selling it.
No, you're not selling it. But no, there's so much. There is a massive story about how the witches of New Forest were outed and they found a massive new coven and they joined forces in Rendlesham. And it was quite a harsh thing because it was documented by police and sheriffs back in the time.
Oh, well, the New Forest down south joined up with the one in...
And and there was loads of things going on. They summoned, they did things. There was even a time travel link to Rendlesham and time loss and things back then. So it could be anything that they've summoned there that could be holding the energy. It could, it's a weird place. That's all I will say. It is a weird place.
It is a weird place. Who's that Charlie? What's Charlie referring to? The woman?
Hold on.
Was that to do with where you went?
That woman, she said a man outside her house was a giant. She was looking out downstairs window and couldn't see his head. She witnessed a UFO the night before, a huge craft.
So is he talking about the Wales incident?
I'm assuming so. She's an old Italian lady. Why would she lie? And that's, I think, what we have to look at as well. There's always that. I think they're good to cover their footsteps as well. We talk about the Men in Black, loosely talk about the Men in Black. Do I think they exist? Yes.
Of course they do. There's lots of covert people out there that have been given that responsibility to keep your eyes and ears peeled for anyone that's sort of...
I think that's a prime example there of there's only so much they can do, and if they get that woman's sort of testimony sort of thing, they're going to say, sorry, what, a giant outside your door couldn't see the head. She's all right, we'll let her say that story, because that's just going to add to the... People hear that, it's going to add to it. Oh, do me a favour.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that, Charlie. Yeah. There's always going to be some...
say, anecdotal evidence, this and that, but...
They choose to let, isn't it? They choose, as you're right in what you're saying. It doesn't matter who you are, what you see. if that come onto the news, yeah, there was a 20-foot giant outside my window, there's a good chance that 70% of the population would go, an old lady off her rocker.
I'm going to go off a bit here.
Don't worry,
Because
we
you
always do.
because you mentioned giants. Did you see the footage and the news, not on the mainstream news, because that's a different weird world, the mainstream news. I don't even bother looking at the mainstream news on YouTube and social media about the Miami aliens in the Miami Mall,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
shopping
oh,
mall. So you're laughing. So obviously you don't think it's genuine, but I really sit on the fence.
No, I think it kind of is. Something happened, definitely. Whether giant aliens, I don't know, but it's definitely more than meets the eye with that one.
we had a mass discussion on this. We did a whole show on this, Paul, didn't we? And it was quite good because it was quite funny. And
yeah, I don't want to go on it too much. I just
because I think it's what I sort of right. There is no right. We said this right.
The reason I brought it up is because I'm talking about the way that it's debunked. Because you look at the YouTube news, and there's respectable people that have got respectable channels on there, like Secure Team and Mr. MBB333, who I've been following for years, and he gives a very devil's advocate, pro and against, balanced view of it. And after listening to him, I'm still under the impression that something really did happen. You watch the sort of mainstream news or the social media that's a bit more sort of trying to poo-poo everything. They definitely said it was like a group of kids setting off fireworks and all this sort of thing. There was about 150 police cars there. I mean,
I think if it was kids, where's the video footage of it? You know,
where is all the video footage? If you search on there isn't anything.
Nothing. So
but then
this is gone.
And that was the whole point of it. I think, yes, something did go on, but I think it's smoke and mirrors. The only time you ever see that amount of police cars, we said it live on the show, Paul, didn't we? Is when someone like the president gets shot or something massive. There is no way you are going to get that amount of police officers to a shopping centre regarding an alien. It's not going to happen because it would be a joke. You might send one police car to go and have a look, and then they would all turn up. If they go, yeah, there's definitely an alien, send everybody. I get that. But my take on it is something went on elsewhere, where we were looking, where everyone was looking, what was going on, maybe 3 miles down the road, 10 miles down the road. They took every single police car out of service for a good hour. What went on? How could they justify that? I think smoke and mirrors.
I still don't know what side of the fence you're on after you said all that.
I don't think it was alien. I do not think it was alien at the shopping centre. But I think there was a smoke screen to draw your attention to that with something going on somewhere else. What that was, I couldn't tell you. No logic play for me. I think I have to put a bit of logic to the whole situation. Is no way on God's green earth does 150 police cars turn up for an alien. No one takes that serious. I'm sorry.
And let's be honest. If it was the kids, one of them would have been arrested. It would have been on the news. They would have had footage. They would have done this. So let's say the reason the cops were there was because of kids. Then that would be rent-a-crowd in my eyes. They would have been paid to go there and do whatever they'd done to cause a disturbance that caused a police presence. Maybe not that police presence, but for them, if there are actual witnesses to the kids doing that, then, you know, I haven't seen many witnesses say they saw kids letting off fireworks.
But I didn't even see a lot of evidence of people saying there was aliens. And even the pictures of the videos of the so-called aliens that they're telling us, that's grainy. And that's, you know.
I would say that I agree that the video footage that is available is very grainy, could be CGI. But I mean, the thing is, I've seen CGI footage on YouTube that I thought I'm watching a real motorcycle race, and it wasn't. It was a bloody video game. So, no, it's so the
2 hours on Sunday watching that. See who's going to win.
the video for the technology now is so crazy. They can do anything now. You know.
Sorry, Joe. I could just imagine Joe sitting there on a Sunday afternoon, think he's watching the Monaco Grand Prix and thinking, "That's weird."
Some kid found this video.
That. Why is Damon Hill still racing?
Yeah.
Well, the point I'm making is that footage of the alien being glitchy is sort of really irrelevant. What got me was if there was an alien there, where is all the footage? All I can think of is perhaps all the phones got confiscated, and that's why they had so many police there. But this is all speculation, you know.
So something else happened because I looked into that, and something else happened, and I can't remember for the life of me where or when it was. But to stop it getting out, I mean, people were videoing it on their phones, this and that. But when they went back on their phones to check it, all the footage that they'd taken on their phone had been deleted from their phone.
Oh, remotely?
Yeah. So, and I can't remember where that was and what had happened.
That's another show.
It was a mass cover-up. I've got a video on my phone, I think, about it. It was a mass cover-up. So they have got that capability. They can do that. All they've got to do is have a white... With AI now and the algorithms, you could easily set up a perimeter around that place. Bosh. Anything that was recorded, wipe it off of them devices.
I don't know.
Easily do that.
Coming in. I'm not seeing it.
That's really interesting.
Kim has put the kids. It was the kids. It went across as an active shooter, hence the panic and the amount of units. It turned out kids with fireworks.
But even with an active shooter, I've never seen that many police turn up.
Yeah,
never.
You look at the ones that all the mass shooters in America. Sorry, it sounded like I was having a go at Kim. Then I wasn't, Kim.
Yeah.
I wasn't. That's not what I was doing. But I was just saying, if you see all the mass shootings in America, you still don't see all them police cars turning up.
No,
there was
10, 20, 30. There was hundreds of them.
Yeah, and it was instant. There is no way.
What Kim said was actually reported. I remember that.
Yes, that was it. That was.
I don't know.
I just don't see why they. If I'm sorry, if someone, I don't care, even if we believe it or not. If someone rings up and I'm sitting behind that, call center, hello, Miami Police Department, how can I help you? Yeah, there's an alien in the shopping center. Send as many units as you can. Okay, all units make your way to the shopping center. It's not going to happen, is it?
In an American accent.
Yeah, it isn't.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. You would send one unit or a couple and say, look, there's someone peeing about in the shopping centre. Can you just take a look, just in case? Send that unit over there. Then they all swarm. But
look, I'm sorry for bringing this subject, because
it's great. It's great.
It ain't going to go anywhere because it could have been anything. We're just relying on.
I think something went on, but I think it was a total deception for something.
But then didn't we establish that apparently the exact same thing happened a year ago to the day? They had the same thing happen. Not when I say the same thing, not so much kids letting off fireworks in the mall, but the same amount of police presence turn up at that mall a year ago to the day. Apparently.
Yes. Mr. M. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was a eureka. It was a eureka moment because Paul, he keeps on reminding me, Mr. MBB333 that I listen to. I mean, Tina, Tina still hunts with you, doesn't she? Yeah. Tina, she listens to Mr. MBB333, and he done one of his programs on his YouTube channel, and it said exactly that, Paul. That incident happened 1 year ago to the day on a news channel, and when he got this information from one of his YouTube followers, he done some research and he actually found, he went onto the news channel, like Channel 13 or whatever it's called in America, went on their website and found the footage of exactly the same incident. So this is another thing that's opened up a can of worms of the time slip or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? And that's what you're talking about, Paul, isn't it?
I didn't know. Yeah, well, basically, yes. I knew the same thing happened a year ago, but I didn't know it was along the lines of like a time slip type.
Yeah, because if you look at the footage, it's got all the police cars and it's the same report of kids with fireworks. After this show, thing. I will find it and I'll send it to you both.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, and we come across it as well. It also happened in a Simpsons episode 5 years ago.
Yes, it did.
Well, even with the alien.
Yeah. Aliens through the shopping mall. Loads of police cars. Yeah. I don't know if if you follow the Simpsons.
This world's going really weird on me.
Honestly, you look at Simpsons history, and the Simpsons have predicted, the Queen's death.
I know they've predicted a lot of things. There was something about Trump walking down a staircase, and it was a cartoon of Trump walking down a staircase, and all of a sudden there was a Simpsons episode a few years later on where he's walking down a staircase.
Well, that was the other way around.
Oh, I said it the wrong way around. Sorry.
Yeah.
The cartoon came out with Trump walking down a staircase, and then a few years later on,
that's exactly how it was. No, it's when he won the presidency.
Was it?
Yeah.
And the Simpsons predicted him winning the presidency. Red tie on, walking down the stairs.
Yeah.
And then as we said, why would Donald Trump act out a Simpsons episode? But there's that link between Matt Grodin.
Oh, it's weird.
He's a time traveller, so he's predicted a lot of things. So this show just goes down weird path. We start at Rendlesham and end up on the Simpsons.
Well, I wanted to bring up the new moon thing, but before I do that, did you know there's going to be a total eclipse this year?
Yeah, is it Jaffa Cake? Half moon?
No, there's going to be a full solar eclipse of the sun.
Is it? We got it this year, yeah?
April the 8th, but it's not going to be over the UK.
I was going to say, we won't be able to see it here, will we?
No, it's going to be Canada, Mexico, and America.
I remember when that happened in this country, and
I
can remember, I'm pretty sure I won't be alive next time it happens viewing over this country.
No, you won't, because it's 2090.
You never know.
I looked it up. Oh.
Yeah.
I
remember it was a massive thing. I remember being outside of work with my welding mask so I could watch it.
Was it 1999?
Quite possibly.
I think it was 1999 because I've done the old binoculars trick. Where you hold the binoculars the wrong way round.
Oh, right.
And then you project the picture onto a white piece of paper.
Right, okay.
I've done that. And that was really weird. I remember it going really dark and the birds stopped singing and all this weird shit going on. And it's really weird. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there. That on April the 8th. And also there's going to be a comet that's going to be visible, that's going to be really close to the Earth. So you might have to put your tin hat on.
Right. So you want to move on for the last 45 minutes of the show?
Well, I was going to talk about the moon landing, but I don't know if you can get the video up that I come across.
Right. I don't know because I haven't clicked on it yet. Oh, where's it gone? Right. I'm going to attempt to play a video. So obviously for Pulse Talk listeners, you won't be able to see it, but you will hear it. You will not be able to hear our voices, guys, but we shall play a video if it works. I can't say it's going to work, but we will see you on the other side if it works.
And it's not very long. It's short, isn't it?
Gus Grissom held an unauthorized press conference where he criticized the program and said it would take another 10 years to fly to the moon. 5 days later, he was on the job. Gus Grissom's last words were, "How are we going to get to the moon if we can't talk between 2 or 3 buildings?"
Hey, how are we gonna get to the moon if we can't talk between 3 buildings? I can't hear a thing you're saying. Jesus Christ. But how are we gonna get to the moon if we can't talk between 2 or 3 buildings?
Moments later, the Apollo 1 command module caught fire. Astronauts Grissom, White, and Chaffee. Several key members of the Apollo mission resigned just months before the mission. NASA had several problems to solve. Problems with communications, the rockets, and the lunar module. But one of their biggest obstacles was deadly radiation. In order to reach the moon, one has to pass through what is known as the Van Allen radiation belt. And NASA announced in 2014 that this was still a problem when they launched an unmanned spacecraft to try to solve it.
Radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
Aside from the Apollo moon missions, no one has ever gone past the Van Allen radiation belt. The Apollo moon mission had no protection against the radiation, and astronauts don't even seem to know about it.
Any ill effects from the Van Allen radiation belts?
No, now I'm not sure we went far enough out to encounter the Van Allen radiation belt. Maybe we did.
The belts are 1,000 miles to 25,000 miles above the Earth.
Then we went right out through them.
According to NASA, we can go no higher than low Earth orbit.
Plan that NASA has is to build a rocket called SLS, which is a heavy lift rocket. It's something that is much bigger than what we have today, and it will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to.
In the documentary film, a funny thing happened on the way to the moon. The 3 astronauts of Apollo 11 are seen in low Earth orbit, figuring out how to stage a fake image for the camera. This film was recorded when the Apollo 11 was said to be nearing lunar orbit, and we can see and hear them manipulating the shot to make the Earth appear to be thousands of miles away, when in fact they have blacked out the inside of the craft and are blocking off the window facing the surface to make it look like the Earth at a distance. When we hear Houston radio approval for the shot, the astronauts do not respond until an unknown third party can be heard whispering, "Talk."
Hello, Apollo 11. Houston, Goldstone says that the TV looks great. Over. Okay, Roger.
The astronauts are told they are being pre-recorded and edited for a subsequent live broadcast. Buzz Aldrin explains how they shut out the sun to achieve the illusion of the one window being the Earth in the black of space. And with direction from Houston, they get it to look right for the camera. We then hear the portion meant for the public, with Neil Armstrong claiming to be 130,000 miles from Earth and describing a single camera pressed up against the window to achieve the shot. But in the unedited footage, we see objects passing between the camera and the window. We see a work light in the dark. And finally, when they are done with their hoax, the final few frames reveal the truth. Protecting humans in this radiation wasn't the only problem. The high-end Hasselblad camera had no protection against radiation, and there is no explanation as to how it was able to take photographs in negative 200-degree weather with a constant bombardment of cosmic radiation. and the pictures themselves are full of anomalies. According to the official story, the only external light source was the sun, but in all these photographs, there appears to be only artificial light, hot spots, and fall-off areas, when it should be as bright as a desert on Earth. And if the sun were the only light source, then all shadows would run parallel to each other. But in these photos, shadows either run perpendicular to each other, proving multiple light sources, or in others, the shadows are divergent, proving a single local light source. Shadows created by sunlight have a sharp edge. Shadows created by artificial light have fuzzy edges. Even the camera expert from Hasselblad agrees that these photos were shot using artificial light sources.
Yes, it seems like he's standing in the spotlight. And I can't explain that. That escapes me. Why?
The photographs all appear to have been taken on a professionally lit soundstage, which could have easily been part of their billion-dollar simulation project. And when you compare scenes from the Apollo moon landing footage with scenes from Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, there is strong evidence that the exact same technology was used. In the late 60s, a state-of-the-art front projection system developed by Scotchlite allowed Kubrick to simulate expansive backgrounds by projecting them onto a large screen made with small glass beads. The giveaway for this cinematic trickery is that the foreground must always hide the bottom of the Scotchlite projection screen in the background. In order to do this, the bottom of each set needs to have a complete horizon line between the set in the foreground and the screen in the background. And we can see this signature in all the Apollo images. We can also see light refraction off the glass beads in the Scotchlite screen. The lunar module appears to be cheaply constructed with tinfoil and Scotch tape, and the 10,000-pound thrust rocket on this flimsy craft didn't even leave a mark in the ground beneath it. There is no moisture or discernible atmosphere on the moon, and yet we can see mud and dust being flung into the air. In an original recording between Houston and astronauts on the moon, a reply is heard instantly, which would not be possible from that distance.
Roger, Jim, copy. And are you progressing towards Dune Crater now?
Yep.
The same recording was then edited for a public broadcast, and 4 seconds were added.
Roger, Jim, copy. And are you progressing towards Dune Crater now?
Yep.
And when they supposedly left, there was no visible flame on the lunar module, even though hypergolic fuel visibly burns in a vacuum. And we never hear the 140 decibel rocket engine which the astronauts are sitting on top of.
40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. 4 forward. 4 forward. Drift into the right a little. Good. Okay.
During takeoff, when it would have been burning at its loudest, an astronaut plays a musical recording, accentuating how quiet it is inside the craft.
99 Pro. Good liftoff. Automatic.
We've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So, unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up.
And we are back. We are back.
Hope
back,
you haven't all
back.
gone to sleep.
Well, no, it was a very interesting video. I think it was a very interesting video. I do. I really do. I think it gives
so
you
much evidence to show we did not go.
Yeah, but where's you want someone to argue with you? I'll argue with you.
That's why I've gone all on YouTube just to get that comment to come up. Because you can't do it on here.
Right. Go for it, Paul.
I've believed it was never happened for a long time. And the more I look into it, I think we've done a few shows on it, really, haven't we? And
yeah,
I mean,
did you get
pretty much everything there we've covered, you know? But it's nice seeing a video like that breaks it down. It sort of sums up everything we've sort of gathered over the years as well, doesn't it? And just neatly puts it together in a video like that. So, I mean, when you actually look at the lunar module, I mean, it's embarrassing, isn't it? I've heard it being described as like, you know, a high school art project, because it really is like tape.
It's all bolted on and stuff, isn't it? You know,
it's just shocking, isn't it? You know, you try and make something go fast on the ground, it's got to have straight curves, you know, and sleek body to it. With that thing, well, it looked like it'd come out of Essex Arena. It was a banger racer. It was big up and blooded, you know.
But it would have. It would look bloody because it's been to the moon and back.
The evidence.
How the hell did it get back off the moon after looking like that?
Do you know what amazed me the most is just before the end, they said none of the dust was kicked up from when the lunar module landed on the moon. There was no deep hole. Although there's no gravity there, the force of a rocket would push the dust out of the way, so you would have a dip there. All the feet are spotlessly clean.
Yeah,
I mean, I just when I argue with my brother-in-law and my sister, we have very heated arguments about this because my brother-in-law is very patriotically pro-moon, and I get that.
Yeah. But you got to learn to accept you're not going to change certain people's minds, mate. I get a bit heated with some people, but sometimes I think, as soon as I'm not even going to engage in this argument anymore, because I know I'm talking to someone that's got no intention of changing their mind whatsoever.
Well, believe it or not, I do, and there are some aspects of that video that I could debunk. I mean, when they're saying about something goes in between the Earth and the camera when they're trying to do the fake shot of the Earth being 130,000 miles away, that could have been someone in the actual module moving in front of the camera. There were some things that were a bit wishy-washy, but when you got like you said, Paul, the structure of the lunar module, just look at it. It's just like it looks like it's been built there and then for it to be filmed in a big studio warehouse. It's you know.
But that picture where they showed you of Earth, when the light switched on, you could see the whole craft and one of the astronauts there.
Yeah.
With the shot that they were taking.
Yeah,
because they just turned the lights on at the end of the frame, so you could see exactly what they was videoing. But then all of a sudden, the lights went on, so you saw the rest of the craft.
But don't you think it's also compelling, because I never saw this evidence before about in 2014 they're saying we're concerned about the Van Allen belt, the radiation. We're not going to be able to, our instruments won't deal with it. In 2015 they said the same. But what I was going to mentioned before we went to that video, but it doesn't matter now that we didn't, and that was that they're gonna do another program, aren't they, this year, called Artemis. They're going to send an unmanned spaceship to the moon, and interestingly enough, they're going to put 3 mannequins in there that are going to have radiation sensors on them. Now,
why would you need to do that if they already figured out how to do it?
If they got through
that, it's just radiation, it's the heat, because apparently that going through that Van Allen belt is like 35,000 degrees or something.
I don't know about that. I don't know that information.
I mean, a lot of that lunar module was aluminium as well, wasn't it? So I mean, that's got a melting temperature of like 1,300 degrees. How the hell's it could make it through the Van Allen belt if it's?
I was hoping for more people to argue in the chat about well, no, we went to the moon, but there isn't anyone. I'm pretty surprised.
But, I could play quite easily devil's advocate. Quite easily play devil's advocate because once again, where is the proof?
The proof that we didn't go, or the proof that we did go?
Both.
Well, the proof that we didn't go is that shot of the lunar module. There is no kick up from that rocket blasting down. Can you imagine the force of thrust that's required to hold that lunar module coming down, decelerating, and land gently onto the moon's surface? If you go back to the video, I know you can't, but that ground is dead flat.
Yeah.
Dead flat.
Apparently, we've gone off air. Apparently, that we've gone.
Oh dear.
Oh, so it's just us re-chatting, is it?
I don't know, but if anyone's in the comments could let me know. Everyone will be checking their phones now.
It says we've all frozen.
Yeah, but we need to go.
Can you still see me moving?
It is wave. No, it does look like we have gone off air. Does look like we've gone. What's yours, Paul? Is yours just turning?
It sort of buffers turning, and every now and then it slightly change.
We've hit that algorithm.
You know, didn't you?
Oh dear.
We've hit the algorithm.
Oh no, we're coming in and out. No,
we've hit. Yeah. We've hit the algorithm. Let me see if it's on and off back now. See, I'm on. Yeah, I'm not even. I've got full bars, so I've lost me. You're back. We're back. Apparently,
I just saw Paul put his phone up at the thing. He did, didn't
he? We're all back. Apparently, we're back. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. So it must have been we've hit the algorithm of Facebook. That's what it is.
Well, we're still here though.
Yeah, but they will take that off. We've had it before. And what was it about? It was the same thing, wasn't it, Paul?
Flat Earth, wasn't it? It was flat Earth.
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth. Yeah, could we?
Yeah. But no, I can quite easily argue the point that what that video is only what they want you to see. You could quite easily fake a video like they faked the moon landing.
I know you could easily present a video that is pro moon landing.
Yeah, but what's to say everything happened in that video did happen? Because obviously there's reports that they did land on the moon and they were greeted by hostility.
Yeah, that's true.
They couldn't show you what they wanted to see. So they landed, they were greeted with hostility, told never to return, left, but where they were expecting the masses to see people land on the moon, but they can't show the original footage because there is certain beings that was met with hostility, and Joe's favourite, the reptilians were mentioned. They were the ones that met with hostility. So we could have quite easily landed on the moon, quite easily, but you couldn't show that footage because it's going to share the crap out of everybody. So they have to then, I have got some weird crap going on. Massive. Oh, something is definitely happening. Massively happening.
Do you know what? This algorithm thing I used to think was a load of old nonsense, but since this AI's been around, I don't believe anything now with the way they can pick up on words that you say or type on texts and stuff.
I'll make you right there, though, Russ. Okay, so I'll change my wording. With the footage that's available to the public and what we've been told, I don't believe a word of it. But like you said, if it happened, we ain't ever going to see that footage.
We're not. We are not going to see that footage.
And it's just, I think a lot of it with NASA and that, they're just frontmen. They're just there to deceive you, to throw you off the scent of what's actually going on.
There is something really weird going on. I'm telling you now. I've just revealed something is definitely happening with both computers. Both computers. I videoed it. I don't even know how we're going to get off air because if we're on Pulse Talk Radio, I don't know. Can someone check if we're on Pulse Talk Radio?
I was just checking, but I couldn't get up on mine.
Because I genuinely don't know. If anyone can. Oh, this is weird. This is so weird. I'll carry on until the last point of call because I don't know if we're on Pulse Talk. I do not know how I'm going to shut it down because it's taken all my buttons off the air. So Pulse Talk is, I don't know. It must, but I don't know if someone can message
We're
me.
on YouTube.
Yeah, that's fine. I've still got all that up. It's the Pulse Talk link that looks like it's gone off. Well, my computer's gone bizarre. It's if someone's moving it. How
What do
weird.
you mean moving it? What do you mean moving it? Moving it physically?
Yeah.
I'm getting no sound from Pulse Talk Radio.
So that's definitely. Oh my God. This is really weird. Really odd. Really odd.
Oh, hang on.
Have you got anything?
Well, I don't know. You need to talk. Otherwise,
Hello. No, but you would. Yeah, because I don't know how.
No.
How the hell I'm going to get that back?
Did you push the broadcast button?
Yeah. It was all broadcasting and it just looks. Oh, my days. Really odd. I'm going to have to. I can't even quit the thing. It's all gone upside down. Holy hell. Oh, holy. Don't know what
Anyway, yes, I agree with you, Paul. With the information that's available, you can only say that we didn't go there. I think.
I see. I disagree. I do generally disagree because it's the same with everything that we do within the field. It's only someone's opinion that they've put a video together. They could have quite easily made that. They could have quite easily AI'd the dust moving or put dust in quite easily. You know, at no point.
That video's been out for a long time.
Yeah, but
no. The original footage that was put out to the public, I genuinely don't believe that if we went to the moon, that was not the footage that they would have taken. That was staged. That was put together. There's no.
Can I just say, there was one bit that wasn't shown on the video because me and Russ had to cut a bit out because it wouldn't load up onto the system, and that was. It started off mentioning that guy, Gus Grissom, didn't it?
Mm.
That's where the video started. And he said that there's no way we could go to the moon because we couldn't even set up communication between 3 buildings in Cape Canaveral, let alone communication between Earth and a spacecraft travelling at several thousand miles an hour towards the moon and back.
But
that wasn't really covered. Sorry?
Even getting clear communication through the Van Allen belt.
Exactly. There's so much stuff that's
put
so...
to a landline on someone, the president at the time, you know, he's sitting there on a landline with a picture of Earth from the Apollo mission behind him.
The thing is, though, Paul, when you're trying to sell a space program to loads of experts, and they see the evidence that, you know, that they haven't got the technology really to do it, they're not going to just sit there and do nothing, are they? And they did.
It was Russia. They had to beat Russia, didn't they? That was all it was. I think that's what
that is true. Yeah, politically they had to, but there was loads of scientists that were privy to all of the technological information that they weren't going to be able to they didn't have the technology to go to the moon in 1969. And what that film we had to delete off of there was that there was 2 or 3 notable scientists that were murdered just before. Even that Gus Grissom he died in the Apollo 1 fire. Do you remember the fire? Was that mentioned on there? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. 15 minutes after he said that, wasn't it?
Exactly. After he said that, the thing caught fire.
But I think you've also got to look at is that there was a part of that video as well when they were doing the voiceover.
Yeah.
But there was no voice. They were just putting what a part of that video didn't. They were saying about the blue writing come across the Armstrong. This is what he said, but nothing was coming across.
Yeah, there was flaws in that video, definitely, but a lot of snippets were taken from real footage, like Paul said, that's been available since the 60s through till now. And that footage hasn't been altered.
But how do we know that?
Well, because I remember that footage of the dust being kicked up from the moon buggy. I've been watching that for years. Don't you remember that?
Yeah.
But
No, I don't. I don't remember. I don't remember the buggy footage at all.
Oh, I do.
I don't remember the bug. It's not. I don't remember that the dust. I just don't remember that. I was always told about the shadows, which that was mentioned.
Yeah.
But
Flag,
we are.
Wasn't it?
But if you look at that flag in that video, I can understand why it waved because there was a bar going along the top in that video.
There is a bar going along the top of the flag. In fact, I think it was pretty much all the way around the flimsy one, just to hold it outright.
Yeah, but I thought that was one of the points why we didn't land on the moon. They used that. Well, that wouldn't happen because there's no wind up there. So
it moved.
Yeah, but that could be anything.
What would make a flag move in space?
Someone walked past it.
Wouldn't. There's no air. The only way you make that move is by actually poking it with a stick.
Yeah, but we haven't been. If we're saying we haven't been to the moon,
no, but we've been in a vacuum, haven't we? So we know that what happens when you've got oxygen, no air. But
if that's a flag, yeah.
I'm
sorry to the people that can't see the video here. I'm just holding up a piece of paper to simulate a flag. If that was the flag, and I walk past that really fast here, that would flicker a little bit because I'm moving air. If this was a vacuum, which space is, that means there's no air at all. There's nothing there at all. And I quickly run past that, it wouldn't move one little bit.
But we haven't been to the moon.
What's that do with it?
Well, how do you know?
Because I know that things can't be moved in a vacuum.
But how do we know there isn't anything on the moon?
It's simulated in dumbbell things.
We can assimilate it all. I get what you're saying. I get the vacuum, but we can simulate it all we want. But no one, as you're saying, no one has been to the moon.
Yeah, I'll get what you're saying, Russ. Like what we said earlier. We put our theories across, but you can't actually say 100% certain that's what's going to happen unless you was there yourself to experience it.
Well, not even if we're experiencing it. We're taking someone that has put a vacuum together and said, this is exactly like the moon. Fair enough. Have you ever been to the moon? No. We're surmising what it's like up there. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But how do you know there isn't a wind? How do we know? We've never been.
Yeah, make you right.
But we can vacuum it all we want, but someone is still surmising. But how do we know that if we've never been?
Because
we're only surmising because we're taking evidence of someone landed on the moon to say there was no vacuum.
Well, because people have gone up to the ionosphere. There was a guy that jumped off. He had to be in a spacesuit because it's a vacuum. There's no air. There's nothing up there.
But
I don't believe that either. I don't believe that Red Bull jump either. I don't, because there was two. You watched the footage of that. You watched the footage of that.
You're talking about the bloke that went up in the balloon and jumped off.
Yeah.
And freefalled.
Yeah. Because
You don't believe that?
No, because the footage kept changing. You look at the craft he went up on, or the thing he went up on, it was different in one shot to the other.
I'm not
Watch that one again,
disputing
mate.
what you're saying, because I didn't research it, because I thought to myself, there's no motive to create.
But even then, that was still really in, like you say, in the Earth's orbit. So that would still be completely different to like what Russ is saying, maybe to the moon. You know, we don't know.
If we've never been there,
we've been told by what scientists have discovered, apparently. You know, how many times have you been told trust the science recently? And how many times have you trusted the science? You know, a supposed expert tells you that's what it's like. So we just take it as gospel. That's what it's like. We don't know.
I wish I was here for the flat Earth. Who's pro flat Earth and who's anti flat Earth?
I was sort of fighting. It's not. Do you know? It's not so much the flat Earth. It's the fact that we've been lied to about the map, our map.
About history, yes.
Yeah, well, about everything really.
Simon's confused. He doesn't even know.
Simon, mate, I'm with you there, bruv.
I've always, well,
Is there a moon?
Well, I caused uproar on this show because I said I don't necessarily believe there is a moon. I believe it's a projection from Antarctica. That's why we're not allowed on Antarctica.
Can you click on another comment again?
Yeah, what one?
The last one. Right, can you leave that like that?
Yeah.
Because that's the only time I see Paul. So it's definitely your end, not mine.
See Paul?
Yeah, all the time that we've been on air, Paul, it's gone. Paul is just loads of blocky squares. But when you click on that comment, it pulls all three of us backwards. The comment comes in the foreground, and I can see Paul perfectly. I can see Paul. It's amazing. Hey, Paul. I can see him. Brilliant.
But I've said it before. You know, there could be absolutely sweet F-all above what we look up at, because we don't know.
Yeah.
If we're generally saying, if you are generally saying, Paul, are you real?
Are you real?
If we're generally saying man hasn't walked on the moon, how can we categorically say that the wind doesn't exist?
No,
we have no evidence of that, because we are now looking at a bloke, no different to the likes of you and me, sat in his little room going, well, let's cause a vacuum. That looks good like the moon. We all believe him.
But then
is that how he sounds?
Our argument.
Yeah.
We're saying about the Van Allen belt. We're doing exactly the same thing with that. How do we know there's a Van Allen belt? Just because we've been told there is.
But is it all been made up to stop us from going?
But you can
if you go with the flat Earth theory, then I suppose you are, aren't you? There you go. If
someone
flat Earth is right,
you're not in this bedroom, Joe. You're somewhere else, and it's all a projection into your brain that you're actually here.
You are.
No, but I get I know what you're saying, Joe. But again, like I said, that goes along the flat Earth theory, because we've got the firmament, so you can't venture out into space.
There's some interesting stuff about the flat Earth. Like there was a group of people that sent rockets up with a camera. excuse me, with a camera, and it hit something, and then they've done it a few times, and that was interesting. But
again, that's what they reckon the firmament is frozen oxygen, because of the temperature up there. It freezes oxygen, and oxygen is a light blue color when it's frozen.
Well, that's the anti-flat Earth theory people saying that. Yeah.
No, that's the flat Earth theory.
Well, I thought the flat Earth people saying that there's an actual physical dome there.
But it is. It's frozen oxygen. Not all people. Some people think this, whatever, this, that. This is what I'm saying. There's so many different theories.
If it was frozen oxygen, then you couldn't look at any stars with a telescope or stuff like that. It'd refract, wouldn't it?
Have you not seen the Truman Show?
both ways, mate. It's
I
both
told
ways.
you about the Truman Show ages ago.
Yeah, well,
and I always said it. I feel that sometimes perhaps we are in the Truman Show. Yeah, but I try to forget that.
Yeah, Simon said, "What about scientific evidence, though?" I'm assuming he's talking about the moon side of things.
I suppose he means the scientific evidence, like I said about the vacuum, and about.
And I say I agree. Do I think we landed on the moon? That's the question that you asked. Yes, I do. What they met there is what I think is the question. I believe that there is something stopping. It was very easy. It seems very easy, as you said, Paul. We made this space module that was made in the back of Steptoe's yard. Fine. Yeah. So if we're going by that evidence, in my evidence, that it looks
your belief is getting very complex. So basically, you're saying we've been to the moon, but that was a hoax. That part of it, yeah.
No, I think we landed on the moon. I think we landed on the moon. We landed there. We did everything.
No, but you're saying that photograph of the lunar module's a hoax?
Yes.
A setup?
Yes. I think that whole thing that was put together, because I do generally believe that something exists on that moon. I think there is. I think it's no different. To
I'm not saying we haven't
planet.
been to the moon. I think we've been to the moon. I believe we've been to the moon. I don't think we went to the moon in 1969 using rocket fuel, human beings in our normal scientific, technological abilities. I think that we went up there in TR3s or with ET. And there is bases on the moon and all that. I believe all that.
But I think it's there, and I think we was met with hostility. That is my general take of it. I do believe that is.
On one minute, your belief, you don't think the moon's real. You thought it was a ball of plasma, and now you're saying we landed on the moon.
I was winding people up with about the big projector and Alaska and all that.
Well, Natalie Foreman is mentioning the moon's projection.
That's right. Yeah. So, but that was because Nat owns the Bug Hat across the road to our shop, Joe.
Sorry?
Nat owns the Bug Hat across the road to our shop.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Natalie.
So that's Natalie and Jim. But no, yes, Natalie is right. One of the conspiracies is why we're not allowed to step foot on Antarctica, because it holds the projector to the moon. That is a theory. That's a conspiracy theory, whatever you want to call it, a truth seeker thing. But yeah, that is one of the things. It does the same for the sun. But you could go, you could open. This is what I love about the show. I love this about the show. It's because you're never going to ever.
Some conspiracy theories are so ridiculous, though, aren't they? Don't you think?
Yeah, but they're deliberately put out to throw.
Natalie thinks
Why is the moon a project? Why would it be projected?
Because we're in a Truman Show.
I've seen footage on
what is it? You showed me
people with Canon P1000 cameras that have got the camera and they're showing it up and they're doing that, and I can see the moon and you can see it gradually moving and it's not a projection.
Yeah, but if you look at, you showed me the video of Crow 777 with the refresh rate going through it.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You told me to follow a gentleman on YouTube called Crow 777.
I did.
Right? Yes, you.
Oh, yes.
And you witness the refresh rate going across the moon as if the projector realigns itself.
It was interesting, but I don't know why.
This is what I'm saying.
Yes, if it was a projection, why would we have a lunar eclipse? I don't know. Perhaps they're cleaning the lens, Nat, or something. So there's a bloke there just wiping the lens.
The lens cap halfway over.
That's it. Let's make an eclipse.
The bit that's black is there with his window cleaner.
We only get Look, follow the eclipse in and wipe it really quickly. Then you get 10 minutes to polish it. Then you get the other side.
Yeah.
So
that'll do for another 30 years.
Yeah, but you know, there's so many theories out there that you could, and this is why every week that we say it, we are not here to try and prove it or disprove it because we can't.
No.
I have no evidence to say. We can show you the videos. It's make your own opinion of it. Do I think the moon is real? 100%. Do I think we landed on it at that time? Yes, I do. I think we met with hostility and we was told to F off pretty quickly. We're going to kill you. Don't come back. And I think the whole video of it had to be put together, very short notice, but that's how it is. You know, it's going to be flawed.
What about the conspiracy? What about the evidence before they actually launched that we didn't have the technology and the scientists that said that we can't do it? They got murdered.
Yeah, but they've got murdered. But how do we know they got what they got murdered for?
Well, one of them had done a congressional meeting, and 6 days later, he was murdered with his family in his car. The other one was.
Good night, Simon.
So like, Si, we're going soon anyway. I think that someone pulls the plug at 10 o'clock.
Wallace and Gromit said the moon was made of cheese. Agree. Was it a full moon when they got murdered? I don't know.
He's just being flippant now. Shame on you, Simon.
I'll leave that comment so you can see Paul. I quite like that one. Yeah, so you know, there's no to me there is no evidence.
Lovely bit of cheese, Gromit.
I can't sit. I'll sit on the fence with it because I can look at that video and some of it resonates very well with me. But for me, the bit that always gets to my head with it, that it doesn't take 2 or 3 people to put together a fake moon landing.
I think you just do this to wind us all up.
No,
I'm sure at the beginning you was all not anti-moon landing, but you was like the moon landing didn't happen.
No. As I said, I've always gone along the lines of my theory is that we did land there, but we was met with hostility.
Yeah,
and that's my theory of it. I believe that concept of that conspiracy or whatever it was. But my mind goes to
we have to sit with what we truly believe in certain things.
But I don't see how they can mute so many people. That's not an easy fragmentation to say that, you know, that took a lot of people to put that video collection together, that whole moon landing. And, you know, one of the theories is it's not fake, that Spielberg had a lot to do with the fake moon landing video.
No, it was Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, but and Spielberg, because he then took on the
Spielberg went around. This was in '69. Spielberg went around.
No, but because that's how he got to make Close Encounters. If you look at everything from Close Encounters,
but Spielberg
there's a very that's one of the conspiracies. He was a part of that.
Well, they got it wrong because he wasn't old enough. He's probably a teenager, about 14 years old.
How do you know? You know, but
because I know how old he is.
Yeah, but he could have been a part of it. He could have been on set.
No, but you did touch on something about Spielberg. Yeah, he's been drip fed information to do the ET film, Close Encounters film.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Everything Spielberg does. Me and Paul have said it quite a long time.
Hollywood's definitely controlled by.
But I think they drip feed us. I think they drip feed us the information.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
I think all these films that we see, and they come forward, and you know, 10 years later, you go, I never saw it then, but I'll see it now.
I still can't explain the Simpsons thing, can you? Can't even see how that happens.
Time traveller.
That's the only thing I can think of.
But even if you look at quick conspiracy theorist. Now, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you take back his lineage very quickly, his uncle, I think it was his uncle, great uncle, one of the two, was handed all the files and evidence and what do you call it? Information and gadgets and gizmos were handed to his uncle. One of them bits of paper or gadgets and gizmos was a time travel machine. Nikola Tesla invented it. He hit the nail. He got it. It was given to Donald Trump. It's still in Donald Trump's family because if you look at his son, what's his son's name? The youngest one. There's a very good book that
I know who you mean, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah, the young one. There's a book made about him as a time traveler. It was made before he was born, named and everything about him. Exact same name, exact same look. Donald Trump has alluded to what is coming in some certain press conferences. He's always said he will sit a second term because he hasn't fixed what has been needed to be fixed. He knew this was the way it was going to be. He knew that it would be a split term rather than a full term. And he's alluded to that in certain press conferences. So there's a big link between time travel. And if you look at Matt Grodin, he's a big advocate and a good friend of the second son. I think they went to school together, something like that.
That's interesting.
And obviously, the glaringly obvious one is obviously the Simpsons and the death of the Queen. The number plate was the exact date that the Queen passed. Date, time on the number plate of the Queen's carriage.
So rather than the Queen being deliberately killed on a certain date, you think it's time travelling?
Well, the Simpsons have predicted that. Why would the Queen's death be affixed to the Simpsons? I'd think it's the other way around. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like, they're dropping little Easter eggs, aren't they? Within the Simpsons, drop Easter eggs, and the Queen passed quite comically in the Simpsons. I think it was a horse-drawn carriage that got flipped over by a pigs or something like that, and she ended up passing. But if you look at the number plate, if you look at the number plate, it's exactly the date of the death of the Queen.
I'll have to look that up. That's really crazy.
It's all you got to do is do Simpsons predictions.
Yeah.
Right, guys, we have come towards the end of the show. Well over the show. It's like old times. We always run over. It is past our bedtime.
Joe's fault.
Joe's fault. But I just think it works. I think it's fun. We need to get Joe on at least once a month to sort of scatterbrain us a little bit.
100%.
Upset you all.
You can't upset. No, I said the moon was a projection. That caused uproar within the Essex Ghost Hunters group and quite a few people on Facebook as well. But it is what it is.
You didn't mention the COVID word. I thought that would be upsetting.
No, we've done the whole show on that.
Have you?
Yeah, we've done a whole show on that. Right, guys, Pulse Talk Radio, take care, and we will see you next week. I don't know if you've heard any of the show or not. I don't know. So take care, everybody over there. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for everyone that has joined us on YouTube and Facebook tonight. A massive thank you to Joe for joining us tonight, and a big
cheers, Joe.
Thank
it's
you
been
to
good fun. Thank you.
Wonderful co-host, Mr. Paranormal Paul. I think we've scared him out of Rendlesham Forest before he's even got there.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure.
Night, guys. Been another great rabbit hole. Joe, catch up on WhatsApp soon. Don't be a stranger.
Yep, see you later, Mike. Take care.
So thank you
Thanks
for everyone that has joined us. Natalie, thank you for joining us.
Right, Natalie.
And everyone that has joined us on Facebook and YouTube, really appreciate it. He went a long time ago. He's in bed, tucked up with his hot cocoa and everything. Take care, guys, and see you soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, if you can quit.